Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to our dearest brothers and sisters who's streaming live. Currently, we are streaming live from International Islamic University, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And to our brothers and sisters who currently watching from all over the world, I understand that we have around 4,000 participants from all across the globe, from Southeast Asia, from Australia, from Europe, and even from America itself. So, inshallah, I would like to welcome you to the Ummah Summit, in conjunction to Global Community Builder Summit, the first global Muslim community virtual mega gathering, introducing Muslim role models as source of inspiration for the younger generation. Inshallah, for the whole session from 11 to 14 November 2020, we will be gathering more than 32 experts, speakers, covering from 4 different areas, which is professionalism, knowledge, philanthropy, and also lifestyle. Co-organized by International Islamic University, Malaysia, Philandure, Murtadha International, and supported by LaunchGood, Muslim Understanding and Helping Special Education Needs, United States, in collaboration with Charity Right, Intac Cambodia, Sabat Association, Kyrgyzstan, Visit Alay, Kyrgyzstan, EGG Tanzania, and Khidmatgaar Pakistan, and also not to be missed, Jsit Indonesia and Right Step Association Kyrgyzstan. Just to mention that the amount of organization that actually supported this program is actually made me out of breath, in fact. So inshallah, we'll together benefited from this session, spread it into 4 different days, inshallah, with multiple and various speakers, inshallah. For today's session, we will start our first session with someone who renowned in the Islamic finance and Islamic economics. He is Datuk Dr. Mohamed Daud Bakar. He is the founder and executive chairman of Amanie Group, one of its flagship companies, namely Amanie Advisor, is operating in 6 cities globally. He currently serves as the chairman of the Sharia Advisory Council at the Central Bank of Malaysia, the Securities Commission of Malaysia, the Labuan Financial Services Authority, and the First Abu Dhabi Bank. He is also a Sharia board member of various global financial institutions, including the National Bank of Oman, Amanie Asset Management France, Bank of London and Middle East London, BNP Paribas Bahrain, and Dow Jones Islamic Market Index New York, amongst many others. He is the author of more than 150 articles and academic journals, and one of his best books that we're going to talk about today is I Have 25 Hours a Day. With that, I welcome Dr. Mohamed Daud Bakar from his office. Unfortunately, he couldn't join us here in IIM today. Welcome, Datuk. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Thank you for the kind introduction. Thank you very much.
How are you, Datuk?
Fine, thank you. Look forward to have a very, interesting talk in a bit. Yeah.
Well, I've heard you just literally finished your meeting, which we're supposed to start at 4, but because of your hectic schedule, that's the reason why you couldn't be here today with us today.
Yeah, this is my 6th meeting of the day.
MashaAllah.
I have another one at 5:30 Kuala Lumpur time for another international conference on ISRA, the International Conference of China Scholars of the World, over 2 days. Yeah.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. So that's pretty much going to reflect the schedule. And alhamdulillah, we're grateful today. On behalf of the organizers, we're really grateful that Dato' able to join with us today. So Dato', we start the first with your book.
Yes.
I Have 25 Hours a Day, which is, for all of us, we understand, and, for all of us in the standard, we know that in a day you have 24 hours. So
yes.
What's the philosophy behind the 25 hours a day concept?
Okay, thank you very much. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Let me start with a very, very light and humor point of view by saying that if you have not read my book, it's better to get a copy and read it now, because I am in the process of editing it and to make it 30 hours a day.
MashaAllah. So that's an expansion from 25 to 30 then.
Yeah,
another
that,
5 hours.
that shows that it's not about time management, it's about your self-management. We cannot manage the time. The time is fixed forever until the day of judgment. You cannot even add even 1 minute, even deduct or discount even 1 minute. But for yourself, you can make yourself expandable. The way you do things, the way you think, the way you prepare for your one day session or meetings and whatever. So you can make it a work within a work, a time within a time. If someone of your caliber, credential can, for example, do 2 things in 1 hour, you can do 4 things in 1 hour, for example. So this is the whole idea of bringing the 24 hours a day, not to worship the time, not to place importance to the time, but to unlock your own potential. If you can unlock your potential, you can fly. I mean, you can expand your relative time beyond 24 hours, beyond 30 hours. The barakah will come in, the wisdom will come in, and you do small thing, but the impact will be better. The small output, the small input will create more output. This is the whole theory of time, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah.
So basically, not putting limits. There's a saying that the only limit exists is in your mind. So do you think that it's this? I think what you're trying to suggest here is that when you say that you have 24 hours, you're limiting your time just to mere 24 hours, whereas that you should expand. And I think it's more to trying to break that limits that in your mind and what has been set upon you.
Yes.
So how do you actually not to worship the time and try to explore your potential by doing that?
Interestingly, first and foremost, you have to reflect in your own diary the areas of time leakages, time wastage. Many people tend to, waste their time by not using the time properly. Normally, people take half an hour for a good lunch or good dinner, or good breakfast. Some people might take 2 hours, for example. Some people might be able to do one after the other, but some of us are able to do, multiple things in one time. While walking, while driving, while speaking, while whatever reading, he can plan, he can think ahead of time. He will be able to gather everything in one shot. I think one of the tips in my book, which I have taken from Steve Jobs himself, the most preferred tip to me is they call it preload strategy. You need to say the moment you do things, you start preloading the next job. So when you walk, when you read, when you interact, when you speak to people, the information that you are getting is not only useful for the first project, the second project, it can be used for many other multiple projects. So when you read something, newspaper or magazine, so you don't confine to your particular research area that you are researching on, but the moment you have a preload strategy, you can absorb so much information that you are accumulating without you noticing it, and you can plug in where relevant. And by doing that, if people can write a book in 6 months, 1 year, you can produce a book every month because you are, and that is the meaning of 24 hours a day from the output perspective, not the input perspective, the output perspective. So this is the whole theory of time management or vis-a-vis your self-management. You are able to preload, you're able to cut the wastage, the leakage, and you're able to make the time shorter and quicker. And you can, be in the position to anticipate and to predict the future by not spending too much time for a person who is very negative, who is very difficult to manage. You try to avoid him, you try to give the reason not to be engaged with him. So this is the whole thing of time management, if you like, from that perspective. If you can do that, inshallah, there's no limit for your time. You can fly, you can do almost, multiple things. Doing multiple things is the secret of a leader.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Thank you, Doctor. I just to give a bit of context, for those who, just made this as introduction to Doctor.
Yeah.
Me personally, I've been Doctor is someone who I've been looked up to since my student days, and I still remember for pre-corona where air travels and traveling is not something of a rare thing. I still remember that the only thing that I've seen posting from Doctor is either at the airport, or me myself, I would have actually seen him somewhere in the airport. Maybe just just give the audience a bit of insight.
Yeah.
What was your life was during the pre-corona, where when the travel was, you were able to travel freely? Just to give a context, what was your schedule like, so that they understand where the wisdoms and philosophy comes from, and practicality of it as well.
Good, good. I mean, sometimes we need to do the thing because we need to do things. It become our routine. In my case, I need to convert my routine into a productive line of business, line of production. You have to go to the office, yes. You have to go to the university, yes. You have to go to work, yes. If you're a policeman, a doctor, or nurses, you have to do the same thing over and over. The same applies to 10 days for 1 or 2 days or 3 or 4 days and come back and for a while and go back to the airport and disappear again. So doing routine thing is something that everyone of us do: cooking, watching TV, reading, and socializing with the friends. But how could you convert that into productive line? For me, I had a premium because whenever you travel at the airport, when you check in, you have your own time. You can take your own time, no disturbance. When you are on the flight, on the aircraft, you have 7 hours solid for yourself. While waiting for the luggage, you have another half an hour to 1 hour doing immigration line. You have to queue for whatever reason. You have your own time to do whatever necessary. So every single minutes of your time away from your hectic job in the office, where you have to meet people, where you have to share the meeting, where you have to listen to others' problem, it might take a lot of your energy. But traveling, you are the king. So when you come to the airport, in my case, before I check in, there could be some meeting in the airport, 1 or 2 meetings. Then I check in, another meeting just half an hour before the gate closes in London or in Frankfurt or in Dubai, wherever I am. This has been the experience. Why? Because on my own, I look forward, to be honest, to be spending time on the aircraft, and sometimes insane mind, when my flight got delayed or when my luggage got delayed, I'm okay. I'm very positive because you have something to do. You can, open up your laptop and start writing and start thinking. So it makes, at the end of the day, yourself very positive guy. The problem of our youngsters and our whatever seniors, we are not that positive. We tend to put the blame, excuses. Yes, sometimes we need to do that. But if you are fully occupied, there's no time for you to find excuses. You use every single opportunity in your favor. And this is the best recipe of time management.
Okay, okay, that's good. That's good. Sorry, it's because I still remember that one of the thing, I still remember perfectly the shots, because I was that was me. I was in my 20s, and seeing you travel in the business class with Emirates. I still remember that picture. And then the next morning, before your meeting, you posted on your social media as well. You're working out. You still have time to work out in between your meetings and transit. And I still remember when I dropped by in Dubai, that one of the brothers who said to me, "Oh, doctor is actually transiting, and he's here just for 1 or 2 days or 1 day, or even sometimes I think I've heard that it's not even a day sometimes." So that's kind of like, where did you get this kind of energy and so much focus? Because I mean, without having a clear direction and fiery belief to what you're doing now to drives you. So where'd you get this drives and there's this discipline, this energy to, to perform? I'll say, mashallah, it's more than average, I'd say, especially for the men of your age.
I'm still young though. Well, basically, youth is not in age. Youth is not in age. Youth lies in the way you think, in the way you dream. So if you wanted to be energetic, you wanted to be always on the move, be a dreaming person. I think, of course, the word dream could be misunderstood, could be misinterpreted. It doesn't matter. When you have a dream, you can have a direction. When you have a direction, you are having a purposeful life. In our context, Islamic context, when you have a dream, you are very strong in your dua, because dream cannot stand alone. Dream normally come through your dua, through your interaction with yourself. So the moment you put your luggage to go to the airport, you put your stuff, your laptop, your charger, your book, your handbook, your full diary from the door to door, they call it, from the airport to the hotel. You have lined up already a very structured and organized program for you. Morning walk, meeting people, have some biryani, have some Pakistani or Afghanistan kebab. So you have planned everything for a reason. When you go back to the hotel, night is still early. Yes, you are tired, but no point of going to sleep at 9 p.m. local time. So you have 1 or 2 hours. Open up something that you like to do most. Thinking, writing, talking to people, communicating, replying to your email, reorganizing your diary. So whatever you do, you make use your time properly while enjoying. You like to do things because this is your life. And this is the whole thing, what make you young, energetic, not only for me, for everyone. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Prophet, never, grown old. He has been very active at the age 70, 60 plus, he's still fighting in the war. So this is, the very purposeful life, a life with direction. So be a dreamy person. If you are a dreamy person, you can do a lot of things. Some people cannot have the dream, cannot be courageous to dream. So start with a strong dream, and that will open up so many your own opportunities. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given the ability to everyone to craft his or her dream. So start from your own dream.
MashaAllah, I'm really touched by the quote or the summary. What you said is, youthfulness is not in age, but rather in dreams. So because I think without dreams, we're going to be dead before even we actually died. So I think that what attracts me. Alhamdulillah. Just for notes, for those who just joined us in the Ummah Summit, welcome. We would like to welcome you again. Alhamdulillah, right now we have Datuk Dr. Mohamed Daud Bakar with his I have 25 hours a day book where we discuss the matter about time and how should we deal with times. So inshallah, for those who have questions, just drop by in the comment sections down below, I assume. And then for those who wants to support the program and initiative, which we greatly appreciated, we have the LaunchGood page. You can see at the bottom right, I think somewhere around there. Sorry, yeah, somewhere around there. So don't forget to donate and don't forget to contribute, inshallah, to spread the message and to make this effort known to other people around you, inshallah. So moving to the next questions. Now I assume your age somewhere around 50s, I assume, 50, 60, some. Looking
56.
Back, 56, alhamdulillah. So that must be 1964, wasn't it? You were born 1964, mashallah.
Yeah, all the leaders were born in 1964.
Mashallah, mashallah. 64, like my parents. So looking, I mean, it's one of the things that they said, do not look back and regret. But I think it's that one way that we should approach this is that looking back is that to to what they call it muhasabah, to introspect and to make the lesson known to others. Looking back to what would you suggest and what would you advise to 20 years old you, if you are to give that advice?
Interestingly, I mean, for my beloved son and daughters at the age of 20, 25 years old, this is the most suitable time for you to start crafting your dream. I was dreamless at the age, to be honest. I was going to school, university. I was picking up my books, my notes. I was interacting with my lecturers, with my community. I have done a bit of society work here and there. But I would have described myself then as a dreamless person, a person with a rohless, if you like, rohless person. As much as I wanted to reflect that I was a student leader doing this and that all the way to my PhD. But compared to my current diary at the moment at the age of 50 plus, I think I have wasted a lot of my energy then. I have not utilized every single minute of my diary, my time. It was more of leisure things rather than serious things, serious dream and serious planning for that. So, of course, the time has been wasted a lot in the past, and that's why, for my beloved son and daughters, wherever you are in Europe, in Middle East, in Indian, Pakistan subcontinent, in this part of the world, take the challenge to read books from many different genres. My problem in the past, I was reading Sharah book all the time and some historical, I like history, and that's it in Arabic. So I didn't read in English, I didn't even in Bahasa, in my own language. I didn't read some other civilization. I didn't even touch Nelson Mandela book or Sir Richard Branson book, or nowadays Elon Musk or Jack Ma. So I didn't open up my mind. So that was my regret in the past. So I would thought if I have read this kind of literature, if my teacher, my mentor were to advise me, Muhammad Daud, you better equip yourself with this one or that one. I think I would have, with the Allah blessing, I would have achieved more, if you like. But nevertheless, I started my things at the age of 40 years old. I started to open up the real stock of knowledge from the commentary to the literature to the sometimes not good book as well, from the novel perspective, knowing in and out of the society. So by combining those literature from many genres, I think it make you a better person. It challenge you from inside. It make you challenge all the time. If you like reading something that you like most, it will not challenge you all the time. It make you perfect. But the moment you pick up Nelson Mandela, books, you pick up the books of the, Bruce Lee for that matter. You pick up the book of good footballer like Kenny Dalglish or Ian Rush from Liverpool. You read about them as you are reading about the current footballer, for example. It will challenge you that I have to practice kicking the ball 1,000 kick a day, for example, to become as good as Messi or Bruce Lee and whatnot. So in short, I don't want to prolong the reflection of the past. Build a strong dream and open up your world. Don't be confined to one or two or even three dimensions of life. Make it unlimited. Talk to many people and make sure that every week, which I didn't do in the past, which I'm doing now, talk to someone higher than you every single week. Talk to someone who is much more of wisdom than you. Not necessarily older to you, even younger, successful businessman. Talk to him or to her. So make sure every week, go make an appointment or at least listen to someone in YouTube who is better than you in many respects. So I hope my beloved son and daughters, they can do a lot more by opening up their own life to learn from other interesting and incredible fellow humans in this world.
Inshallah, mashallah. Thanks, Doctor.
Yeah.
Doctor, now we just passed mashallah, a very challenging times for the past few months,
Yeah.
where with Corona happening, where the world seems to be pausing, where you're no longer able to travel, across the globe. It seems like the whole economic structure, it seems like the whole um, social structure, or even the way you interact with each other have changed. And now, it's still uncertain where is the direction that we are going now.
Yeah.
So it comes to this,
Yeah.
I think it's Corona paradox, whereby you have so much time and the world's going really slow, but somehow or rather, I mean, this is personally something that I felt because I've been living this fast-paced life for the past few years as well. It feels like with this plenty of time, with this slow movement, it seems like you don't know where to go because it seems like everything seems to be uncertain. So how do you deal? I mean, because you've seen from the eagle eyes view, from the economics perspective, and and in terms of practicality as well, how do you think
Mhm.
that young people and also those who actually, I think most of us are actually facing this as well, should deal with this?
Mm. Well, I could be a contrarian a bit to your analysis just now. Um, I have to say that I'm becoming more busy, more occupied during this Corona time because the time has become very efficient because you don't travel that much and you are not getting stuck in traffic jam. So I start my day from 8 o'clock all the way to 9, 10 p.m. every single day because the expectation is increasing from business perspective, from new idea perspective, from connection perspective. And if I may quote a very common theory in economics, good or bad, it's up to our colleague to interpret it. They call it, there's no bad economy. There's no bad economy. Economy is good for all the time. So
All the time.
it's up to you to really make use of the new environment that you are in. If you are, put in the, very difficult situation, so be it. You have to learn how to overcome those problems. So, my advice to my sisters and brothers, my beloved son and daughters, uh, again, it goes back to the very motion just now. You cannot manage the time. You have to manage yourself. If you are able to manage yourself, you can manage yourself in all time zone during or after the crisis. But if you are time bound, then you are stuck because nothing to do. You don't have friends to meet up. You don't go out to see people. You don't do sport. So it becomes very much time bound. But if you are managing yourself, there's no limitation. So yourself can be more creative than the time very static. So you can do something that you were not able to do in the past. Before COVID, I was able to write one book in 3 or 4 months. But now during the COVID time, my level of production has increased. Every 2 months, one book. So I'm happy for that, alhamdulillah, because you keep up the production level because you have new environment. You have, if you can say, a better time allocated for you to do what you want to do as a hobby is concerned. So uncertainty, yes. And again, in the mindset, you have to prepare for the uncertainty. To be honest, don't quote me and everyone outside there. I predict this kind of restricted movement and whatnot will be there for the next 6 months. So I predict myself that I have to prepare my job, my things all the way to June 2021. So this is the prediction of the future and the way I try to put my diary accordingly. If things improve sooner, then that's fine. I have all the advantage to take back in my lifestyle, in my work, but I'm putting the plan for the next 6 months. How could I unlock the potential if things continues for the next 2 quarters next year.
All right, that's actually a good way, because I can see that there's some differences in corporate leaders as well, whereby a certain company, I mean, those who badly affected by this pandemic, they are actually waiting for the perfect time where we would recover. Let's say you're talking about in March. They say, okay, inshallah, June, the time will recover, our economy and our business will recover. And now it comes to November, and we are far from recovering, I'd say, because not just Malaysia, we have to look from the global perspective. But I like your approach, whereby just prepare your mind that this thing's going to stay at least for the next few months, and respect and readjust, I'd say, accordingly. Your work, your vision, and your priorities. Doctor, we have some questions from our audience.
Nimble person. Yeah.
So we have a question from brother. From brother Said Ismail. He writes, we should be managing all our responsibility in a corporate way, either in NGO or work, and not lag behind with simple excuses. A balance is needed, but what would be the takeaway from a corporate role? Peter Drucker once wrote a book on managing an NGO professionally, for example. So this with regards, managing NGO and Islamic movement in a corporate way. What would your opinion on that? I think it's a bit outside of the topic, but I think it's relevant in a way that you're a corporate leader, and giving insight as a Muslim corporate leader as well.
Okay, one thing which is good in the corporate leader or in the business environment: focus, avoid wastage of resources, action-oriented, accountability for every single time and unit and assignment that you are given and you are being tasked, and more importantly, the collective responsibility. No one is perfect, but when you work together, you are becoming a perfect organization. Perhaps the other feature that we can learn from corporate culture is the intensity, because the time is essence. Time and money are together, the two faces of one coin. So time is very essence. Time is not secondary. Time is always, even in the legal documentation, if you are dealing with, surely you are, in many business documentation and agreement, they will put clearly time is the essence. Meaning to say, you cannot be taking your time at leisure. So everyone must be working very hard, and you can be charged for being negligent because you are not responding rightly to the time. So these are few things, and for me, there's no difference between corporate and the NGO, Islamic movement, mosque administration. We need to have 4 or 5 pillars of success. You have to have a good leader, a good follower, a good vision, a good vehicle, and a good funding. So these are the 5 things that everything should be connected to one another. One without the other cannot work, and one without the effective utilization of the other will not work. We cannot have 99% perfection. We need to have 100% perfection in terms of leadership, the followers, the way they do things, taking the cue and working together. The vision must be clear and transparent and measurable and impactful. The vehicle should be flexible enough, nimble enough. You don't worship the structure, but you worship the KPI, the action-oriented. And last but not least, capital. It could be currency capital, or the dollar capital. It could be social capital, social currency, works, contribution, knowledge, wisdom. So these are the 5 things. It works in the corporate world, it works in the NGO and Islamic movement world. But the problem I have seen, things are not connected to one another. The leaders, followers, vision, and the fund or the necessary funding and the vehicle are not flexible enough, are not robust enough, are not nimble. Sometimes we worship the vehicle worship is a inverted comma, more than we worship the very essence of the motive and objective of your organization.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Doctor. We have a another, I think it's going to be our last question from Nur Hidayah. She said, Prof, I have a question. How to focus on what we are specialists in it, especially as a student, and that can give benefits to others? I think she's trying to craft her dreams, I think.
Okay, don't craft one dream. I mean, what should I say? In the early stage of your life, try to have many forms of dream, okay? Because you don't know what will be the best dream for you in the future, once and for all. So in fact, if you have one dream, that dream can evolve into another dream. So be flexible, in managing your dream. I was dreaming to be a writer in Sharia, related works, Sharia Mind. I have written on Sukuk, and then I moved to management, motivation. I have 24 hours a day, the success story. Then I moved to managing the crisis, marketing, turnaround strategy for the SME. Then I moved to novel nowadays, very fiction and futures novel. In the last few weeks, I have published my first novel. Then from there, I started picking up the new dream of writing books for children using the character of animals. So I'm becoming very deep now in writing all sorts of books for the children to enjoy the story of the animal, of course, embedded with messages and what have you. So I'm also going from Sharia to big data. I have been involved in the fintechs, in the gateway payment, remittance payment internationally. So the dream should be evolving. In one way or another, I wanted to say to Nur Hidayah, it's good to have a focus, but focus can kill your personality. So let the dream grow and let your personality grow together with your potential dreams in the future. It's good to be focused, but over-focus kills sometimes. So don't be over-focused and over narrow-minded. Make it open a bit, flexible a bit, then you can see the real color of your personality now and in the future.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Doctor. So I think it's pretty much answered Nur Hidayah's question. How to focus. I think it's the key is to explore a lot of dreams, not to specialize. I think you can specialize, but you just to explore other dreams as well, apart from what you're focusing now. Doctor, are you able to accept one more question? Because we have one brother in line insisting on a question. Would that be okay with you?
I'm okay until right, 5 p.m. as yeah, I'm more than happy.
So we have a question from Mohamed Rabiul Arshad Lokman, which he wrote, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Professor. Prof, how to overcome our lazy attitude? I believe that each of us will have a day where we will feel really lazy to do our routine activity. What should we do to overcome about it? Moreover, how do you plan your activity systematically, Prof? That's all. Thank you.
Yeah, I have a quick answer, and you may read the full answer in my book. I have 24 hours a day. Basically, every one of us would have down and up time, up and down time. No doubt about that. So we have to go through that process. The one that distinguishes between a winner and a loser, for a winner, he is clever enough to overcome the downtime, the feeling of laziness, the feeling of not getting the right inspiration to do work at a certain time, at a certain occasion, and certain places, for example. For me, one of the tips in my book, I mentioned, during your productive time, when you are energetic, when you are so ready to fly, try to do the most difficult work that you have to deliver. During the downtime, when you feel lazy, I also feel lazy most of the time, make sure you have something to do which is the most pleasant pleasant thing to do, the most enjoyable thing to do. So I have prepared, Brother Arshad, in my bag or in my whatever, many things which I don't touch it. I put it aside. When I'm down, I'm going to take that work, manuscript, certain book I wanted to read, or certain game I wanted to play, or certain Quranic verse I wanted to contemplate, because so beautiful, so deep, and so insightful. I will extract it, I will bring it to the table, and I'm using that during the downtime to fight the laziness, to fight the parasite of laziness. Surely you can survive for 1 or 2 years, 2 hours. You don't fall asleep, you don't go around without doing anything, and make sure you have something, you keep purposely something that you enjoy most, and you do that particular activity. Like for me, diary management is very important, very enjoyable to manage the diary of the week, of the month, of the year with the smiling face. It can kill off your laziness. Or you wanted to call someone during the that kind of time of laziness, or you wanted to play something overseas. I just put my sport attire and go out and walk in the part of the world, Frankfurt, Munich, London, while thinking, so I can overcome the laziness. Or perhaps by cooking. If you like cooking, when you are lazy, go to your kitchen, help your wife, your family members, your friend in the hostel, cook something. So this is something you have to bring forth, something that you enjoy to do most, and by doing that, it becomes a solution. But in the future, it becomes a medicine prescription for you to kill off the laziness parasite once and for all. Inshallah, by doing that over and over, the parasite had been killed from yourself. You are not lazy anymore. You become all the time energetic and positive, and on the move to fill the gap of the laziness. I hope that can answer your question to some extent. There are many other tips, but the more you read, the more you can absorb the positivity of fighting the laziness.
So striking a balance and lifting out, fighting that laziness, the lazy parasites. So brothers and sisters who are watching from across the globe, with that, it's a wrap for our session with Datuk Dr. Muhammad Daud Bakar. We thank Datuk Dr. Daud Bakar for his time, and we appreciate on behalf of our organizer and all committees as well. We thank you for lending your time, which we won't be able to give it back, but inshallah, I hope this serves as an investment to the brothers and sisters across the globe with the essence and highlights from the idea and philosophy of 25 hours a day, inshallah. So brothers and sisters, you're joining us live from International Islamic University in the Ummah Summit. We just finished our session with Datuk Dr. Muhammad Daud Bakar. Inshallah, we're going to take a break, and we'll start soon, somewhere around 5:15, where we're going to have a guest from Australia. Inshallah, we're going to have Mr. Hussein Baba, and exploring the topic of business sustainability via community integration. Inshallah, thank you, Dr. Daud Bakar, for the session again. Inshallah, we're going to take a break and continue back at 5:15. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you. Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.